Hey, hey.
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. How are you doing?
Doing good. Did you watch the most recent Gangsta?
No, I haven't. I just basically watched most of Prison School today.
Did you watch all five?
Yep, all five.
So here, I'm just gonna tell you something because I watched it when I was couldn't find you, so I was like, oh, I'll check out the most recent episode of Gangsta. The
Uh-huh.
uh, the fight scene reminds me a lot of Sort of a Stranger.
You're shitting me.
I mean, let me know if you have that same impression,
Seriously?
but it really reminded me a lot of Sort of a Stranger. And there's actually a lot of stuff that happened that I even caught because there's the such fast movements and so detailed.
Oh shit! I've got to watch it.
Yeah, but we have to do the podcast first. But
We do. Yeah, we have to do the podcast first. So yeah, welcome everybody to episode 13 of Two Dimensional Champions. And it is I, Julian.
And I, Thaddeus, aka Thadinator.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes wild. Woo!
Yeah, didn't we laugh about this last time? We needed an applause button or something like that.
Yeah, and then I just made a lot of noise. Maybe I'm just hyped, man. I'm just hyped about doing this. So you know how we were yeah, man, we're gonna get back on track. We're gonna do these things on Fridays and stuff like that. Then I started playing Final Fantasy X, and I didn't really stop. So I will take full blame for our delay in regards to that because for some reason I was like, I want to get the platinum trophy for this game. And then I was like, I want to get the platinum trophy for this game in a week. That's terrible. That's a terrible decision for a Japanese role playing game. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah. So that's my little.
That's okay. I have to take 50% of the blame too because I started my webcomic last week on the 5th.
All right.
So I came up with this fun little idea where I thought to myself, hey, I'll do a countdown picture for each day prior to the 5th, the last 5 days.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that'll be fun, just do a little picture each day. Well, yeah, that would have been a good idea. But drawing, inking, and then sort of coloring. I mean, there's not really any color; it's gray tones. And finishing each page took a while, and then I still was getting the pages because I updated, I think 6 or 7 all at once. So I didn't sleep last week really.
Fair enough.
I sort of slept, but so yeah, so I gotta take 50% of that blame because last week just was a blur.
I really don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know. So that's what I've been doing, and I'll shamelessly advertise my webcomic. I'll put it in I'll put the link in the show notes for this episode.
Sounds good.
So otherwise, I won't burn up any more time talking about it. But go read it if you want to.
Yes, I second that motion. Actually, I would say read it even if you don't want to. I would even push it a little bit harder.
Yeah. Even if you don't feel like reading it, I would read it.
If you're blind, just imagine there's Braille and start palming your screen.
Well, if you're blind, then have someone write us a comment at twodimensionalchampions@gmail.com saying how you would like a braille version of the series, and I'll forward that to the author and see to it that he works on that.
That segue is so strong.
Yep.
Um,
So yeah, if anybody has any requests for future shows you'd like us to review, also send that our way, either in the comments or email. And also like us on iTunes, SoundCloud, whatever. That really, I
anywhere
know,
that we show up, if there's a like button, like
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 us.
us.
Yeah,
If there's not a like button and there's a comment section, just like type in like, and then
yep.
that'd be beautiful.
So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it actually means a lot, and let us know.
Yeah, they
It
do
warm.
exist and they
I know
care.
it warms our tiny black hearts.
a, ti- a
Uh,
tiny little like lifeless hearts. They're like, I like how you guys never release things on time. Like, oh
yeah,
no.
it's
uh,
like, well, don't mention that.
or do honestly, just as long as you send a comment. I don't even care if you hate us to this point. But this weekish, this episode, we are going over prison school.
Prison school.
Yes. And so I don't generally do a lot of like I like to just sort of like go into uh animes just sort of blind. And I definitely had no idea that it was a comedy when I started watching it. Did you have that? Because for some reason, like when I saw like the cover of it, it made me think of Gantz for some
Yeah,
reason, and I was just like, oh, so there's just like some crazy dudes on like a deserted island and they're killing everyone or something like that. But and then in like this crazy prison life or something like that. Totally not the case. But
yeah. I had no idea what it was about. I just saw a teaser for it, and I didn't really understand. I got the message that they're in prison, like on a school campus or something like that.
right.
Didn't really understand it. Saw a lot of boobs. Didn't really know. I actually, I don't think I would have watched the show had we not chosen it for the podcast. I was totally just going to ignore it, and
Yeah, that I mean
you know,
that's a recurring theme. It was
yeah, I
like
was totally going to ignore it.
I don't know really how I feel about it. It's like I like after watching the first 5 episodes, I sort of feel violated, but like I kind of like it, and I almost think that that's like the synopsis of the anime is
Yeah,
violation, but kind of liking it.
that's certainly. I think that feeling is definitely shared by several of the students
Oh my
who
god.
get thrown into prison. Yeah, uh, what a funny fucking show!
Yeah.
I really like. I mean, I went in. I think I was thinking something like Tenjo Tenge. Actually, a lot of boobs and like some violence,
Right.
and I laughed my fucking ass off. Two episodes in particular, and I know you know which ones I'm talking about.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't know.
the
There are a lot of them. There's some scenes though that I bet are,
Oh yeah, I think the first episode and the third episode just had me crying. I just couldn't.
right.
I mean, I actually watched them over again because it was too funny. So that really shocked me. I was really shocked that I went from 0 to 90 with this series. I guess.
Yeah. It is it's very particular. Like it's yeah. I guess that's all I have to say about it. I don't even know like I think that whoever did it was just on a lot of drugs and and just like went with it because it's like I can't really tell the target. Just like because like you think it's like for dudes, but then there's like some scenes when you're like, like what the fuck? You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just like it's just so crazy. Like
yeah, it's definitely not for everybody.
there are some
I mean,
parts that sort of like made me feel like I never even watched a lot of Ren and Stimpy or whatever, but like I sort of like had that impression. Like, does that?
yeah, well, I mean, I was even thinking like this show felt like South Park in a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
Like it just really, there are some South Park jokes going on. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I've seen it on South Park somewhere. Like it's just, and I just didn't expect that going in. I just really, I'm actually kind of flabbergasted that it, because there's a lot of parts of it that'll make you feel really uncomfortable,
Right.
and then I think it balances itself with the humor, and then I don't really know. I've actually never really watched anything because I thought about GTO, which has a lot of the fan service and kind of like the dirty humor, so to speak.
Right.
But not
It
like
really
this.
isn't like
Yeah,
that. I mean, because like
no.
then he's like, it's like a pervert, but there's like, and then the moral of the story is don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was an asshole with like a heart of gold, and you knew he was a really good guy,
Right.
and so everything turned out okay because he wouldn't actually have sex with any of the students,
Right.
as much as he tried to.
Right. Even though he like really wanted to.
Yeah, even though it was pretty close to what 130 times or something like that, but this was not like that. Like these characters feel. Uh, um, I don't really know what's redeemable about them, you know, like about any of them, really. I mean,
I mean,
but
well, the main character like tries to be a good guy.
sort of. But he lies the whole time to the girl he likes
Yeah. Yeah.
without even realizing it.
Yeah.
He's like, what am I doing? I was going to tell her the truth, and which is that's an interesting thing. Like otherwise, he's a great main obvious choice for the main character, but it's interesting that he has this. It's almost like I, I'm not sure what it's like actually. You want to be on their side, especially since I'm a dude, so I sympathize a lot.
Right.
But
There was like a lot of that like boys sort of like
yeah,
like thing
yeah,
or whatever like what there's that scene when the president like sees her dad looking at like was looking at
oh
porn
yeah.
and she's like men are so disgusting.
Well, yeah, that was hilarious, and I loved how he kept trying to throw out all of his dirty pictures that he had taken, and he couldn't. He
Yeah.
kept digging them back up, and he uh, he when he was throwing them away the first time, he was recalling each and every girl whose butt he had taken a picture of.
Yes.
So he was like Argentina '87.
And I'm sure you noticed like the way that he talked.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
crazy.
he
It's
would.
like da da da, ka, like da da da
Yeah,
da, like nah. Like it's like, isn't
he
it?
would.
It's like yes.
He would do this great, you know, yeah, accentation of like the last word.
Is it?
Accentation a word? I don't know.
I haven't heard of it, but yes. That literally means nothing. So do you want to just like go into it, or are there any things you want to go over before we just fly into the episodes?
I'd say let's get into it. I mean, will say first that the anime is based on a manga by Akira Hiramoto, and this is an interesting guy because the only other series of his that I know of was also released in the States back in like 2008, and it's called Me and the Devil Blues, and it's the story of Robert Johnson, who's the like famous blues guitarist who you know died young, but kind of was just this amazing guitarist in like the 30s. And it apparently was really good, and the art is really phenomenal. And I've never read any of it. It was one of those that I always wanted to read, and I'd remember every once in a while, but never got around to actually looking at.
Right.
So that author did this,
So
did Prison School.
was it after Food Wars? I
Mm,
like I just feel like I'm convinced that every single like person does porn, but
yeah.
apparently that's not the case. But it's still like I was just like, got it, porn, whatever. I'm sure.
I I know, like I'll have to look up this guy a little bit more to see if he ever did porn. But as far as I know, his previous series was super realistic. Just not really even in an anime style whatsoever. It was really very realistic, which I think is why he's so good with the facial expressions in Prison School, is that he knows how to exaggerate really well, and some of the facial expressions are just fucking amazing. And then the anime itself is directed by Tsutomu Mizushima at the studio JC Staff. JC Staff did uh, Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? And we already talked about during that
Right.
episode how JC Staff is doing like a million
You
shows.
know them by now. It's just
Yeah,
like even if you
so if
didn't
you
know them, if you listen to the podcast, it's like they keep
yeah
popping up.
yeah you know them. We've covered a bunch of their shows this season, and
Accidentally.
Tsutomu basically Tsutomu Mizushima has done an interesting variety of shows. He did Witchcraft Works, I think last year. He did I think the second season of Genshiken, and a couple of Clamp series. So he did Triple X Holic, or I think it's just called Holic. So he directed that show, which is based on a Clamp manga, and then teamed up with them to do Blood Sea, uh, which is part of the Blood Vampire franchise.
Yeah, that seemed to
So
keep
he's
going, right? Like I saw like I think the first season, and then like
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
there's
keep.
the original movie. Then there's Blood Plus, which is totally different, and then there's Blood Sea, which is also totally different.
Okay,
So
so it's like Final Fantasy almost.
it's kind of like that.
Like
Yeah, it's almost like Gundam in the sense that it's sort of the same idea except redone each time, and the main character has the same name each time. So
they
I don't
probably
know.
have like a weird reincarnation theme going on or whatever.
Maybe yeah. I've actually
I
not seen enough of it.
officially like for the record, I'm talking on my ass. I have no idea. Just a guess.
Yeah, I mean, neither do I. Just I've seen really just the first movie. So there you go. Don't know anything about it, but anyway, so he directed it, and the manga is available here in the States from Yen Press, and the first volume mysteriously just came out.
Ah.
Yes, wonder if that was planned. And the anime series just started on July 10th. It's going to be 12 episodes, which is a little disappointing because the manga has been running since 2011 and Weekly Young Magazine, so it's weekly, which is interesting. And it's been running since 2011, so there's almost 20 books.
Wait, so when you say it's 12 episodes, so is that like for sure, or if it does well, they'll do another season or whatever? Like, is it
Mm,
tentative, or are they pretty locked into that?
at the moment, it's pretty locked in.
Huh.
So, and actually, being that it's a seinen series, so like, um, we talked about this last time too. It's for older
Right.
guys, I guess. Those series don't typically get animes in the first place, so I mean,
Understandably.
it might get a second season, but I don't know. But what is odd is although the anime is only 12 episodes, there's actually going to be a TV drama, like a live action version of it,
Oh, God.
and that's going to be from October on. So actually, the TV anime goes right into the live action.
That's
And what's
crazy to me.
curious? Oh yeah, and what's going to be curious is I don't think there are any pictures for it or anything yet, but the director of the TV drama is Noboru Iguchi, who worked as a director in porn. Uh,
Maybe. See, it
yeah,
always comes back to porn.
and he's done a lot of like really fucking crazy movies. One of which I've actually seen, which was called The Machine Girl, which is I I don't even know
Wait,
how to
is
explain
this
it.
the porn?
No, it's not a porn. It was
Okay.
like a gore cult movie. And basically, it's just the whole movie is basically a girl who loses her arm and then goes out for revenge, and then she gets like this gun that she puts on her arm, and it features an enemy with a drill bra, a lot of gore. I think the main character gets her arm fried in like they're frying shrimp, and she gets her arm fried. It's like really kind of weird. So anyway, he's directing the live action version of this.
Strangely, that makes me hopeful.
Yeah, which I think is
I
a good choice.
I
You
don't know
know?
where they would show it though, because I feel like in Japan their live action's much more censored, and I mean I've seen some things that cannot be unseen, and the anime was certainly censored, like you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is definitely one of actually similarly to Triage X. Definitely one of those shows that you almost want to just watch the home video release
Right, I
and
can almost guarantee.
almost
I
just
even like have in mind if it was like Triage X censorship. There's just like just random
yeah.
like beams of like light or whatever. There was even one that like the beam of light looked like it came from the window, but then it stopped as soon as it like passed the person's genitals. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah. So this series, so that it's getting a TV drama actually speaks a lot for how well the books are selling, and I'm hoping that that'll mean it'll get another season, but I'm not gonna. I don't know. Realistically, I'm gonna say probably not. But yeah. So that's basically all you need to know going into it. Or actually, the one thing I will also add is the anime you can watch on Hulu, or you can just watch it if you have Funimation's subscription service.
right.
So it's pretty easy to find in the States, and you should do that prior to us talking about it. Because we're going to be talking about stuff that's going to just be a lot fucking funnier if you just watch it first.
Yeah. Because
It's like,
it'll be like that scene, and you're like,
yeah,
"What's that scene?"
yeah, yeah, and then you'll go into it knowing about it, and it'll just be lamer.
Yeah.
So right now, if you can handle, well, you'll find out if you can handle it or not. But if you can handle it, then definitely watch the first 5 episodes before going into it. And also, as a disclaimer, you haven't read the manga, have
No.
you? Okay, so I haven't either. So we're going into it,
A
a
little blind.
little blind as far as that's concerned, which is cool. So yeah, so let's just hop to it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, so it's like it opens up with there's like so it's a school that's all girls and it was like all girls beforehand, and for some reason they just like let in 5 guys. It sort of like looked like the dad had something to do with that. Who's like the president of the school, who's the father of the president of the underground council or whatever, and everyone's sort of related. I don't. It's interesting, but anyway, and then the first thing that the 5 guys do, they're like I want to have a girlfriend, yeah. But like none of the girls are allowed to talk to him, and because of this underground council thing, and then they so their immediate first reaction was to go peeping on the girls as they shower, like you do. Uh,
Yeah, and right before that, so they're talking about how like you said, they haven't talked to any of the girls, but our main character, whose name I'll just look up in a minute, but so main
Kiyoshi.
character dude Kiyoshi. Hey man, first time in 13 episodes.
Oh,
I think is
I
that it?
have the page up.
Oh shit, you just owned me, man.
I don't actually
Damn.
know.
All
I
right.
just have the wiki up. And even then, I'm
So
trying to be like, who the fuck was that? So,
yeah. So Kiyoshi, he drops an eraser, and it's like got this sumo wrestler person on it, and a girl picks it up and recognizes the character. And the eraser was given to him by his mom. Blah blah blah. He actually isn't a fan of sumo.
but he says he's really a fan of
Yeah,
sumo because she's a fan of sumo, and he's
because
like,
yeah, this chick is a sumo otaku, and they talk about it for a long time, and he just remembers everything his mom said about it. So prior to their plan to go peeping, he's kind of gotten kind of close to one of the girls whose class they've decided is generally the hottest, so they'll do that one in terms of peeping.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I think that like the thing that makes the comedy so great is the facial expressions and the art.
Yeah.
Like because they really like so like with the shower scene, they go down and then like he gets caught by his crush, who's like who's nearsighted or whatever. Like she doesn't have her glasses on, so she doesn't know that there's a dude in there. So and she thinks it's someone else. And like as soon as she's looking at it, she's like, oh, but he has like that face, you know? And it's like
I'm looking at that. So they took a camera to and they had the plug in so that they could see inside the room, but it gets dropped. It's the main character's camera, and like you said, she can't see him, so she starts undressing, and he looks into the camera while the other guys are looking, and his fucking face is hilarious. His eyes, he's staring at the camera, but his eye is like popping out of its socket. trying to see.
Exactly. And like and what was she's like, why aren't you undressing? And then so his friends don't know that he's got a crush on this girl. And then like he but he doesn't want them to see her naked.
Yeah.
Because of her purity and all that jazz. So he starts undressing in front of all of the guys. And they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you undressing right now?" And then it's like he's the noble sacrifice. Like it's all just ridiculous.
Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Because he goes into the girl's bath with her because she can't see him.
And then there's
And
like tons of other girls who's just like not saying anything.
yeah, and they call him this a true samurai.
um,
So they get caught.
right. So all the
Comes
guys on
caught.
the roof they get caught because apparently the president of the underground student council committee or whatever has a thing with crows. So like never go where a crow can see, and then they all get thrown into jail because you're not allowed to be a pervert or whatever. And that's just sort of like the prologue. Um,
Yeah, and the student council president seems like she just has like some issues,
yeah.
pretty much. And then a big booby girl. Her name is uh,
Miko, Miko, Miko Shiraki,
Mako or Mako,
Miko,
Miko, Miko.
Iko. I don't know.
Yeah, Mako. So there's really the three of the three main people of the underground student council. There may be more. We haven't seen them.
Right.
And Mary, who's the like you said the president. Mako, who's I guess the main. She's the one we see the most.
She's like the main disciplinary. Like
Yeah, and she has this little switch. I guess
she has a riding crop.
riding crop. Okay, yeah. And then there's Hana, who we'll talk about in a minute. Yeah. But Mako, what's really funny is so she just hits people with her riding crop, and is trying to punish the guys and stuff, and she has them doing labor and whatnot, building a fence, and it kind of backfires on her because really all the guys except Kiyoshi end up loving it. They just there's this guy who has this huge head but this tiny little
See,
face.
that's the first thing I was like. I wrote my notes because he like you see his face. I think like at the very beginning. And I was like, oh, tiny face, huge,
Yeah.
like huge head, like, and we mean like tiny, like it's like there's a face where his forehead should be, and then the rest of it is like his face. Like it's just
it's
insane. And he also has huge ears for whatever reason, but like.
And she spits on him, and he has this tiny little face, and this tiny little tongue comes out and starts licking.
Oh god!
And so these guys are funny, and actually, probably should have talked about them before they got caught. But so you have little big head, little face,
Right.
And then apart from the main character, you've got the guy who is a huge fan of the Three Kingdoms history, which is this period of Chinese history, which is like huge in Japan. They fucking love it. There's tons of anime. There's tons of books. Tons of games.
Figurines
there's
as well, and we'll get back
figurines. Fucking name it. It's there. And his nickname is Gakuto, and so we'll just call him that. And then there's the blonde dude who's known. The main character, and I think Gakuto since kindergarten or something, or for a long time, or since grade school, or something like that. And then there's Joe, who always wears a hood, is always coughing up blood because he has terrible.
God, what did they say it was? It's some sort of like.
I forget. Canker sores?
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
And he loves ants.
Yeah.
So that's
just like really weird.
And what's funny is, so these guys. So it's interesting.
And the big guy is like his nickname is Andre.
Ah, okay, yeah, Andre. And
thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah, thank you, Wikipedia.
They hardly ever said their names like in the anime. I don't think.
They really do. The first 5 episodes are about Kyoshi and was it Kyoshi? Yeah. Yes. Yes. And the Three Kingdoms guy.
Right.
Everybody else kind of pretty much falls to the wayside until episode 5. Um, so yeah. So this all backfires. The guys, except for the main character who likes that one girl, they just love it. The punishment's not working. They're just like, this is great.
I mean, there's even the huge fight when like when she was like, "You dirtied my boot." Like lick my boot or whatever, and then like the main character Kyoshi is just like, no, it doesn't make any sense, like don't do it. And then everyone was pissed off at him because they were like, I almost had a chance to lick the boot, to lick her boot, man. And he's like, what?
Yeah, they're like, why did you fuck that up for me, dude?
Right. And his was like, I wanted to watch you lick the boot. It was like, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, super, yeah, really. Because she does fucked up shit to them. She, like, sits on their faces and shit.
Yeah, and while, like, God, it's so graphic. It's so,
yeah, it's so graphic. Yeah. And so the student president is like, well, okay, so this shit's not really working, so we'll bring in another person.
The secretary, who's right?
Hana. Yeah, the secretary. Yeah. So
she's this
Hana,
cute little blonde girl. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. So what's great is her voice actress is Kana Hanazawa, and she's done like lots of like cute, kind of like little sister characters, I guess. And literally, she was Toji's younger sister in the third Eva movie. So she just plays a certain type of girl. And she's super popular. And yeah, so what's really great here is she starts off playing that character, and then quickly you see a whole different side of her that I don't think she's ever done before.
God, it's awesome! It's awesome. Like I think when they introduced it, it was with the when they're giving her the 4-leaf clovers, but they're like a bunch of 3-leaf clovers. So there's like a huge mountain of them. And she's like, "This isn't right," and like breaks the table that they're on, and it's like she was also like an expert karate, like or whatever, right?
Oh yeah. She so she asks the guys to find 4-leaf clovers, like you said, so that she can make them as use them as bookmarks, and then sell them to like for a fund for underprivileged children or something. like really,
Yeah.
So none of the blonde guy is like, yeah, whatever. She's like, you guys, because they get distracted by like the jogging team or whatever,
right?
Or the track team. So she, goes up and makes sure it's like, hey, you guys still looking for 4-leaf clovers? And the blondie is like, yeah, we are. And she's like, what? Yeah, did you just yeah me? Like, and fucking drop kicks this dude in the middle of his head.
And they're like, this isn't sexy like the other girl. This is just very painful.
Yeah, because she's wearing pants underneath.
Oh,
her
right.
skirt. Yeah, so you can't get a panty shot. She just slams, and she's just totally violent. Like there's no
like ruthlessly violent.
Yeah, so it's not just like being slapped with a riding crop.
There was a lot of blood. I'd like.
Yeah.
Like this isn't an action anime, but it's got more blood than some like action animes. Like,
oh yeah.
God, it makes me want to like watch those episodes again. Yeah, so fun.
And it's so like Risa is very BDSM, whereas oh shit, no, Risa's not. I was reading. Fuck you, Wikipedia! How dare you give me the wrong set of characters? I was looking at the student council, who I guess hasn't appeared yet. So the undergrad student council. Shit. God, I wish I could say I was drunk, but I'm not. So Mako is like much more BDSM. She does all this like kind of kinky shit, whereas Hana is just violent. She just beats the shit out of everybody.
But she's got her own little things going on. Everyone's got their. I mean, I think it's like even the disciplinary like council, whatever, upstanding rules people, like they all have their little weird things going on,
Yeah, they definitely do. And
so just
the first
go to how episode 1 ends.
Yeah, so we get introduced to these weird little quirks that each one of them has by Hana first. So our heroic main character Kyoshi rescues a baby crow,
Hmm.
and puts it back in the nest, and then ends up talking to his the girl who likes sumo wrestling and promises her that he'll be at this match that she wants to go to.
Right.
And as that happens, or the girl walks away and whatever, and so he's still up in the tree, and Hana comes out, and she drinks a lot of tea, so she's got to pee, so she pops the squat.
And
So
and
uh,
then he falls from the tree right in front of her, and that's how the episode ends.
yeah, so
With
that
her screaming, and that's the transition. So at the
yeah.
end of the first episode, you're like, what just happened? Hmm. At least that was me. I was like, this is strange. But yeah.
Yep, and then Hulu gives you a kind of inappropriate commercial for toilet paper, and then takes you to the second episode where did he like fall? Did she like pee on him or what? What he felt?
She like he falls like really close in front of her when she's peeing,
Right.
and then like so she suddenly has this like obsession with seeing him pee,
Yeah, yeah. So
and
she strikes
it's
back at him later. That's yeah, okay, yeah. So that's her big thing in episode 2. Is she like keeps trying to see him pee.
right, and then it's like God, and then he's like, okay, like what was the person saying? Well, like you're gonna tell him. Well, to make sure that like you're not gonna tell him. You gotta show me so we're on like equal footing. She's like, what? Like show you like what? So yeah, I need to see you pee. It's like, okay, and
Yeah.
then there's like goes to go in the corner. It's like, no, turn around, and she's like squatting like right in front of him, like it's like aren't you too close? It was like it looked like she was giving him a blowjob. Like they showed that angle intentionally,
Oh yeah,
um,
definitely.
and
So he gets out of that situation. She gets what called by somebody or one of the other guys
yeah,
interrupts or
like
something like
comes
that.
by, and she's like,
Yeah, and so she gets him later on because episode 2 begins the 4-part story of how Kiyoshi and Gakuto are going to try to break out because Kiyoshi wants to go on this date in a few weeks, and then Gakuto wants Three Kingdoms action figures that they only sell once every 4 years in Akihabara.
right,
Yeah, so the second time she makes Kiyoshi drink a lot of tea because she's watching them work because they were he was so Kiyoshi at first was just working by himself,
right,
and then Hana gets pissed at him and basically destroys the shed that he was using as cover to dig a hole through the wall. So he and Glasses Dude, eventually start working together and cleaning up the pieces of the shed and making a hole. And
I remember that.
Hana tries to get him again and is like, okay, well, I'm going to see you pee because you saw me pee. And so she gets him in like the bathroom.
Well, so no, this is so like she'd been force feeding him the tea, so he was like
Yeah.
doing like a little dance, and then Four Eyes, I think that's his name, Gakuto is like
Yeah.
he's
And he doesn't realize that Hana has this pee thing.
right, so he's like, oh, he needs to just go to the bathroom, and she's like, yes, he can go. So like, and he just starts taking off. Like, and I love this scene, like this scene specifically, just because of the way that it builds up. But like, he runs into the bathroom, shuts the door, locks it, and he's like, yes, I'm safe. And then she's immediately just like jumps over the stall into there. And like for some reason, when that happened, like I don't know, like I've had that feeling of like, okay, I'm in the bathroom, every like this is my little sanctuary because no one's gonna bother me in the bathroom. And then she's just like, I don't give a fuck about your stall. I don't give a fuck about your privacy.
Yeah, she jumps right in.
And then you can follow up with the next scene that happened.
Yeah, so he struggles against her, and she, it eventually ends up that she,
She's pinning him against the wall and unzipping his pants. Aren't
yeah,
you?
and she's doing like this creepy
You're
heavy breathing. Yeah,
I need to see it. I need to
yeah,
see you. Like,
see, and so what is it? She falls back on the toilet. Anyway, she ends up. He just lets it rip because he's just like, I've got to fucking pee. I don't, it's just gonna go, and so he ends up peeing all over her.
oh, and then like, but again, it's like the comedy in this is because of the art, because it's like frantic struggle. It's like unzip, push away, and then you see his face, slow motion, pink background, hair flying back, like like and just like and,
And I,
and, and then her like ah.
yeah, and just having those moments when you really, really have to pee,
Exactly. That
just
was
gotta go.
it was the perfect like showing
Perfect face, perfect
of
face.
when you've been holding it for a very long time and then you finally pee.
Yeah, you just gotta let it rip. You just gotta let it go. So, and what's funny, well, actually, what's kind of sad is so she gets peed on, and that's it. She's gone for the next
Yeah,
three
like
episodes.
she's yeah. I thought that was kind of strange. Like when they reintroduced her in I think episode 5,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, right at the
it
end.
was
Right at the
like it was like oh, and she's back now. And I was like, well, like, why was she gone? You just take a shower. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it almost seemed like she was so affected by what
If
happened
that's
that
what you
she
call
had
it,
to.
affected. Like
Yeah,
this show is so good with facial expression because it's like the face that she had. It wasn't like it was like the combination of like disgust and like pleasure. I felt like was
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was. Like
It was like this has never happened to me before, but I really liked it, but I don't want to like it.
right.
Basically,
Oh my god, it's insane. It's insane.
yeah, they deal with some kind of complicated emotions, I
Well,
guess.
and like with the facial, like and like there's some scenes where it's like they transition and then like they pretty much like draw a face of like a titan or
Yeah,
whatever, like it's that like drastic. It will go from like cutesy to like titan face or whatever, and it's like those, I think those are the real like comedic points that they hit. It's like those timing moments, you know.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Everyone's
No,
got like weird mannerisms. Like Gakuto's always talking about like how he's like in that period, in that old period or whatever. Is sort of like my impression of how he talks.
yeah, he actually talks like Kenshin does in Rurouni Kenshin. He has this very proper old way of speaking, which is, from what I've heard, is kind of impossible to translate because it doesn't really mean anything in English. It's just super super polite, like old polite.
Right.
But yeah, so after the Hana story, and you can kind of see why the author had to take her out because Hana was like zooming in way too hard on Kiyoshi. So they would have never have gotten this far in their plan in the next 3 episodes if she had been watching them the whole time.
That's true.
So this is basically like she departs because Mako just doesn't. She's just not as interested, so she's not watching their every move.
Right.
So yeah, so this really begins their plan in earnest, which is the escape route.
So like were there any other like main sort of scenes in episode number 2 that stood out to you?
Um, I'm actually having a hard time remembering episode 2.
That's something actually I found that with like the pacing of the show, it's really fluid and interconnected, so it's hard to at least it was hard for me even like watching it, and I was like taking notes like episode by episode to like discern when stuff happens, which
Yeah,
was like an interesting sort of experience that I had. But there's one scene in episode 2 where it was like the president and the vice president, I believe, we're in a shower. We're taking a shower together, and I don't even remember what they were talking about, but I just remember being really impressed by how they like artistically did that shot just with like the camera angles and stuff. It
Hmm.
kind of reminded me like an Evangelion where there'd be well, I think there's like a scene where like Asuka like flies open like a door, but then there's like a cup or like a
Oh,
soda can or something like that blocking
yeah,
everything, and then like
yeah,
they like
yeah.
drink it, and then there's like another soda can or something like that.
There's a toothpick
Yeah,
container. Yeah.
and it's like it's that sort of stuff where it's like these guys are totally naked, but you know it's like I'm so mad about that, and so she puts her arms against the floor, so you're looking at like their back, but then like their arm is covering like the tits of the girl like in front of her,
Mhm.
and then you know it's like it switches over here, and somehow you're like looking at like the leg, and the leg is like blocking the tits, but you're at like a weird angle, and like
Yeah, the shot I got to in episode two, because just to remember what you were talking about. Yeah, I like there's a shot where Mako and Mary are facing the mirror, and Mako is like washing her arm. So Mary's arm is up, and so her arm is blocking the window's reflection of her boobs, but there's no like mist.
right.
Yeah,
It,
so like that's a really well done shot. It's not just like this white blur over the
I,
screen.
I like it. I like it so much more than the way that like Chiajak sort of did it. You know, there are definitely like sort of censorship areas, but then there are also some like funny posing sort of things. You know?
Yeah, I think this show actually has a good director. I think that's like the main thing
Yeah.
is that this show is actually well directed, whereas Triage X was directed by a spastic orangutan. So I mean, that's, that's
Yeah.
we,
It was pretty crazy.
yeah, it was pretty.
God, this is so much better than Triage X. Like,
It really is. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do one fan service show, do this one.
right?
But
Yeah. This fans, or well, I mean, like this the food one.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I'll call it. I wouldn't really say the "Is It Wrong to Pick Resident Dungeon" is really. I mean, it's not fan servicey like this is fan servicey. You know?
well, this is like this is like a whole nother level.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
yeah. So really, the only other plot that kind of comes back in this episode again is Mary is finds out her dad's like a huge pervert. So she finds the stuff on his computer.
Right.
He drops the folder in the hallway and stuff like that.
And it's just like you disgust me.
Yeah, and she's just. I actually thought in this episode it was going to end with him getting thrown in jail. I thought that was going to be
Oh, really?
like,
I definitely didn't get that impression at all.
yeah. For some reason, that was the thought that popped up, was that she was just going to like usurp his position and toss him in jail, and that somehow he would help the other guys escape or something. I don't know. Like, I can't really explain it, but
So, episode three.
like, yeah. So episode three, it just so basically it's really the formation of the team up between Kiyoshi and Nerd Dude.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, and that those are the main plot points going on throughout it. But there's like certain sort of hits that are just brilliant. I think episode number three has one of the better ones that I
Yeah.
think you probably enjoyed.
So episode three. So there's like other stuff. So there's God, this fucking episode. So I watched this twice. This was really fucking hilarious. So the first plot point that goes on is the blonde guy, and actually at first I thought it was just going to be like a funny kind of stupid one-off sort of thing, but this actually sets up the blonde guy's eventual dislike of the main character, who before he was good friends with. And it kind of happens in a way that I didn't really see coming, actually.
I don't
And
know.
so blonde dude,
I have no
blonde,
emotional value in the inner relationships of this show.
uh,
I mean I don't even like I don't care about their history. I don't care about like whatever. You don't watch this for the character development, really. I mean like
yeah, I guess not.
yeah, it's just pure entertainment.
So the blonde dude mishears Gakuto and Kiyoshi planning their escape, and just completely gets like the wrong impression. He's like, "Well, okay, so they're having sex with each other, but maybe I just misheard. I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Right, they're
So I'm
not
gonna
like that. They're not like that.
So I'm gonna go take a shower. So the two guys, Kiyoshi and the other nerd guy, they were doing strategy meetings, when they were in the shower because
Right.
they could.
Right.
You know what I
And they
mean?
thought that the blonde guy might know. Like might have
Yeah, they were nervous.
and they were gonna like meet together with them, so like we gotta bring him into the plan or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. So he opens up the doors to the shower, and first the nerd guy drops the soap, and he basically interprets what happens as uh, them blowing each other and then fucking each other,
Right,
and he
right.
flips his shit. Yeah.
And then they're like, so it was yeah, so it was a combination of like dropping soap and then the and then
Falling.
Gakuto
Slip.
is in front of him. So when he looks over, it looks like Gaku's giving him like a blowjob, and then he slips, and the guy's like, "Oh, well, let me help you," and then it looks like he's fucking him from behind.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised they didn't completely censor that because they really, you know what I mean? Like I was thinking there was going to be white mist all over that, and they
No, it's
really,
just really creative camera angles.
yeah, like really. And then he sees them and misinterprets. They're like, hey, nothing's going on. Just come in the shower with
Right.
us. And he's like, no, I'm fine.
They're like,
Actually, really.
no, come. We have much to talk about. And he's like,
Yeah,
ah, when really they're like, we gotta bring him in on our side. And he's like, they're trying to fuck my brains out.
yeah, and that's where the Titan faces you mentioned before come
Yeah.
up. The blonde dude's like, no, I'm good. Actually, I'm
Right.
really good. So that was funny, and then that leads into the blonde guy telling Big Head and the ant dude, about what's going on. And I actually thought it was kind of nice of him to be like, yeah, well, they're still my best buds, so whatever,
Right.
okay. But while this is happening, Kiyoshi is listening to them talk about it because he's found this like drain that he can crawl through.
Right.
So there's a wrench that gets thrown into their plans, which is the Saturday that they're supposed to escape. There's going to be like a sports match with different schools and stuff, so they've got to do that. So the discovery of the drain allows them to get to the hole that they're digging through the concrete wall without being seen. So there are these little holes that you can look out of, and while Kiyoshi is
I
going
mean,
through
I
them,
think that's like how they do the drainage too. It's like there's like a ditch ish, but then there's like panels over the drain, so you can
Mhm.
pop them out or you can put them back in. And I think that's just for like cleaning and stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. So
It's a neat system they don't have in the States, at least not that I'm aware of.
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So Kiyoshi is underneath Mako when she starts doing these. What's she doing?
She's doing squats
Squats. Yeah, she's doing
and
squats.
just like sweating, just like
Yeah.
sweating an insane amount, which is like a thing that like happens with her. Like she just like
Yeah, she just sweats.
sweats, especially when she's around the president. Or
Yeah.
when like the crows are around or whatever, she's just like, just like,
Yeah.
and it's not
She's
even like sexy sweat the way that they draw it.
no.
It's just like a river is running off this person's body. Like,
Yeah. 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 It's just going. So there's a shot of him looking up, and a drop of her sweat hits his eye, and he doesn't blink.
yeah, it just like
He just like,
spreads over his eye.
yeah.
Um,
And so he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta keep going." And I actually like almost died. So Mako wears high heels, like these boots,
Right.
which are high heels. So he's trying to crawl away, and she slips on her sweat, and her heel goes into one of the holes in the cover, and stabs him in the ass.
and like,
And he bites his arm to keep himself from screaming. She's like, I must have stepped on a rat or something like that.
right? Which
That was
meanwhile, she's like, I don't give a fuck if I just killed a rat, because I think she like looks at her shoe and there's like blood on it, and she's like,
Yeah. Yeah, she's
um,
like, yeah, whatever.
yeah, all in a day's work.
So this continues. She questions Kiyoshi why he had disappeared, basically, and the blonde guy's like, well, he wasn't. It wasn't that he was having a poop or anything. Like he has hemorrhoids, and he's bleeding. 'Cause his whole back of his pants is just covered in blood.
It,
So this just reinforces this joke that they're gay.
Right, right.
Uh,
They're like, it's because his butt is so loose.
yeah, and the other guys are like, "Wow, you didn't have to plow him that hard."
Exactly.
That's
They're like,
that's
you
just
could have been a
brutal.
little softer.
Yeah, you could have gone a little softer. So that was really funny, and that begins the second part of the episode, which is they have a computer class that all the guys. There's no computers in the prison, so they have to go to
Right.
the school, and they're in class with a bunch of girls and stuff, but they're kind of cordoned off and in the back of the room. And the nerd dude, the Three Kingdoms guy, Gakuza, he had gotten this like audio recorder, which he said, an audio player, that too, which he said was to help him with English classes. So they were like, sure, yeah, you can have that. So what he's going to use it for, as he reveals to Kiyoshi, is to record the sound of a fart or someone pooping, more exactly.
I was not a particular fan of this scene.
I love the scene. Oh my god, I freaked out with the scene. I could not stop laughing about this scene. This was fucking hilarious.
God.
I had never dreamed. I've seen a lot of shit in anime. But I just not seen this before. And so his first thing is like, well, we have the internet here, and Kyoshi's like, you're a fucking genius, dude. It's like you're gonna Google pooping MP3 or whatever.
Right.
And he fucking Googles it. He Googles poop MP3.
Couldn't find anything.
Couldn't find anything. He's like, shit, what do I do? He's like, oh god. He was like, well, there's really only one thing to do. And at first you're kind of like, what are they talking about? You're like, what? And Kyoshi's like, don't do it, man. Like that's it. That's gonna be like your whole high school life. You're gonna fuck it up.
I like how. Do you remember how he was always doing the math? He was like, well, like the high school life is 3 years, but then like the span between these two figurines is 4 years.
4 years.
So it's like, but then he like would add them up. So it's like if they both mess up, then he loses 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, so just 7 years gone. It's like I think you're doing the math wrong there, man. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I'm like, wait, he's going to record himself poop. And I thought he was going to go to the bathroom or something like that. And there would be something with Hana, or I don't know, just something. And so Kyoshi's like, don't do it, man, don't do it. And he sticks the mic up his butt and he shits himself.
when he stuck it with, I was like, maybe he's just gonna do like a little fart, and then since it's so close, nope. Au contraire, my friend, that is not what happened.
Shit himself in class.
And then he was like, "Excuse me, can I go to the bathroom?" And she was like, "You could have asked a little bit sooner."
Yes, it's like you could have just asked that 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And what's great is when they realize they're gonna have to actually record one of them pooping. There's this scene, kind of like with the censorship, where there's like light and stuff, but this is like 70s disco lighting, and there's like light coming out of their butt and like the star kind of thing. Anyway, it just looked hilarious because they're like, we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do that. I think I cried when I saw this scene. I just lost.
It was just
shit.
so beautiful. You were touched.
Yeah. It's just like, and right before it, he's just like, "I'm sorry, Kiyoshi. This is the only way to do it."
It was very much one of the like farewell, great warrior. I'm sacrificing myself for the team sort of scenes.
Oh yeah,
like that was.
Oh, you had the dramatic music.
Oh yeah.
You had the build up. And what's funny is all the girls are like screaming and stuff like that, and Kyoshi's crying. He's like, I'll never forget this.
Right.
Like, I'll definitely break,
my fallen soldier, like,
yeah.
or my fallen comrade, we will. Yes.
So, I think in all the shows we've watched on Two-Dimensional Champions so far, if I had to pick one scene,
God,
I would pick this scene. It's like, I guess in terms of like funniest scene is like this.
Yeah, I mean, and the exchange, it's like again, it's one of those things where like describing it doesn't really do it justice because it's just all about like the way they draw the faces, the things that they say, like the background, the crazy fucking ideas, the imagery that they have of the ideas, like
The timing.
yeah,
I mean, you just gotta watch it.
yeah.
Like you just have to watch it. So that oh jeez, that's great.
And then
So
going into
yeah.
number 4, um, so that opening scene, right when oh, the way that it finished, I forgot. He was like, I need to make sure I get punished, and then so there's this like crazy scene that he does where he like stands up into the vice president's crotch, then he face plants her tits, but then he's like, this isn't enough, I need to do more. The president turns the corner, he does like a running back like handspring thing or whatever, grabs her skirt and then like drops with it, right? And then that's the
Yep.
segue to the dildo. Or
Yeah, I was like,
dude, when
what?
that happened, I was very like, oh my god, this show just went here. And I'm kind of like, I mean, it was definitely like a troll the audience thing,
Oh,
because the
totally,
way
yeah.
they've been doing the censorship, it was like you just thought that it was like, when if I see the uncensored version, there's this woman's holding a fucking pink dildo, like, and
Yeah.
she's gonna sodomize this guy. Um,
Yeah, that's absolutely what it looks like.
yeah, but then like after the opening scene, um, he shoot, I just had like a crazy commercial just pop up. Boom,
The
nailed it.
Hulu.
Yeah, and oh yeah, so it looks like it's a big pink dildo, but actually it's just hair clippers.
Yeah, and it turns out that his grand plan was to get his to shave off his to do something so dire that he'd have to go to the office and apologize.
Right.
And the best apology he could do would be shaving off his long, luxurious locks.
Exactly. Were there any scenes in episode 4 that really like stood out to you that you really liked,
Yeah, actually, I think there was.
other than that one?
Yeah, so that's their plan where Kyoshi is going to cross dress in order to escape, and with using the hair as a wig that was shaved off because he saved it
Right.
basically, which actually makes sense that he would have taken his own hair and be like, "I'll clean it up, mistress." You know what I mean? Like that actually, I thought that was a pretty cool idea, that I just did not see coming at all. And actually, this gets back to the whole reason why they have to do this cross-dressing plan, which is because their hole gets sealed up by
By the president.
by the by the president because he was cementing his he was digging a hole, burying his treasured dirty pictures of all the girls he's hooked up with, and sealing it with cement because he just couldn't trust himself otherwise. So he's just got this tro that he's just walking around with that's full of cement. So he's like, school's falling apart. I'll just fix this up
Right.
real quick. So that's the whole reason why they've got to do the cross dressing plan. And it almost very nearly doesn't work because Kiyoshi, when he cross dresses, almost gets caught twice. First by Mako, which was like, okay, she just was like, oh, it's another student. But then he gets fucking caught by the president. He gets caught by Mary,
Right.
and he had ripped the suit part of the uniform because he's just too big for it.
Right.
And she's like, you don't look right. You've got your backpack. And I was actually, and it's funny because his hair didn't match, so it's really funny is the color of his actual hair is not the color of his
Of
like
the
the little
pigtails. Yeah.
twin tails, the other pigtails he's got going on.
Yeah.
So that's really funny. I mean, it's like it's a horrible, it's like a terrible attempt at cross dressing, and so she's pulling the backpack off of him because she's like, it doesn't look good. And then she sees the tear, and she's like, oh, you were wearing this because you didn't want to show everybody that you had torn your coat. And he just nods really quick.
Right.
Just walks off, but she notices the shoes, and at first you're not really sure what she noticed. I actually thought it was going to be something like the way he was walking or
I
something.
mean, well, I think that was too, because he was walking like a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
like
basically,
what were like your like scenes that that you like really liked about this instead of just like going through everything that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think there wasn't necessarily one that stood out like in the previous one where I just fucking like flipped over backwards laughing. But of course, this episode is really the climax of the whole story of them trying to escape. And it was actually really nice to see that he did make it, and he does go on the sumo date with the
Right,
girlfriend.
right.
But of course, the big twist,
It's
to show
tragedy
the tragedy is that she discovers that the uniform he stole was her uniform.
for this like a semblance of a of a plot that they're trying to keep.
Yeah, for this like very, very, you know,
Did did
not a,
did you care or like what was your like? Did you have were you like oh shit when you found out that it was
now. Surprisingly, I did care.
yeah
I was like, okay, because I wanted him oh my god, to succeed. I really wanted him to succeed.
right
And what's funny is she just storms off, and she's just like fucking pervert. And so we end with this big cliffhanger. Also, it looks like Mako found out that it's not actually the sound of him shitting in the bathroom. It's the recording that was made. So the only thing that really kind of irked me a little bit was, and again, I don't really know how hard I can be on the story, but how the fuck did he make it back to the bathroom so fast?
yeah.
Like, it's the time. That was the only thing. Was like it was all based on like the time limit, and he just happens to get back without making any noise.
Well, okay, and I
Uh,
can't believe I'm trying to defend this plot, but like the way that it was sort of played out was he really wouldn't have made it back in time if he watched the full cinema thing. Like
yeah,
I think that it was even discovered like in like maybe the first match or whatever. I think she left early, so like the time that he was at that Suma thing was significantly cut short. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, you bring up a good point, which is if she hadn't gotten pissed at him, the whole mission would have failed. So because she storms off, he still bought the figure. So basically, the other guy's plan worked too, which was he got his action figures, and we're left to kind of, I think, the first big, you know.
I thought that that he didn't get the figures.
Oh, he
Oh,
did.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. I mean, he did ultimately, but when he got back, I was like, he didn't get those figures.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
I didn't think he did either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I because I was thinking like if this happened to me, I'd be so distraught. It'd be so hard for me to remember. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and so they throw him into
So
solitary confinement.
another scene that I really liked about this one was the was when he's actually breaking into to get the clothes
Yeah.
earlier in the episode, and
Oh,
then
and for
like the bald guy is like there's like it's almost like a big strong bald like American-esque looking dude. It's sort of like what I felt like was the stereotype, right? Am I or
yeah, yeah, it kind of looked like
and
that.
and then the other and then Gakuto was making fun of him for being bald. Meanwhile, he just had all of his hair shaven, so he was
Yeah.
also bald. And then and then when the guy approached the fence, Gakuto just started like spouting nonsense, just like ah! And he like pissed himself.
Yeah, because he thought the guy was going to beat him up.
I know because he was so scared.
He
So
was just trying
yeah, I
to.
just thought that
Yeah,
was an awesome
that was pretty
scene.
funny. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah. So basically, actually, what's funny is this and it's I think it was Food Wars, where 5 episodes was actually a really nice like test for the show,
Right,
because I felt like if we had ended at 4 or 3, we wouldn't really have finished the first arc. Whereas the first 5 episodes of Prison School, you get the first arc,
right.
or feels like you get the first arc. Because it also shows, I actually enjoyed that it showed the limits of the Underground Student Council's power, which is they couldn't expel anybody.
Right.
And they were going to try to make Kiyoshi expel himself by signing the form, but that doesn't happen because he gets forgiven by his girlfriend, who the big thing in this episode is revealed to be the younger sister of Mary.
Right.
That's-
So it like and then because the reason that they know was because she took a selfie with him and then sent the picture to the dad and her older sister saying, "Hey, thanks for letting this guy off the hook or whatever. I'm really enjoying this time at sumo." So
Yeah.
like, talk about bad luck, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, that was just it was really, really shitty luck. And really, overall, things end up pretty well for Kiyoshi. He finds a reason to stay at the school. His girlfriend likes him again, and really, the only thing that happened was now the other three guys are super pissed at him for like not including them in their plan because they thought they would rat him out.
Right. Yeah,
And
I
of
don't
course, he
really
took.
care about like the I don't know the inner squabble.
Yeah, actually, I like that a little bit.
Well, like it's cool that it's there, but it's not like
It's not
oh
pivotal.
no, like yeah, I just didn't.
Yeah, I
Be,
mean, you're not gonna. I mean, I don't remember any of their names, so
right. I know their whatever their stereotypes that they fulfill, but
Yeah, yeah, like the bad boy stereotype, the fat dude,
the fat dude and like the weirdo.
the weird fucking dude. Yeah. So basically, the Mary is super pissed that this didn't work. She's super pissed, and she's super pissed that her sister likes this guy. She's just like, this isn't fucking happening. So she starts a plan to get them all expelled. And we really don't see anything more than just Mako is like gathering information. And really, the only other big thing that happens in this episode is we round off the cliffhanger with Hana coming back.
Yeah, dude, that scene. There's a scene where like that's in my notes like Hana is back! Exclamation point! Like that character is just excellent, it's excellent, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. And like there's like a scene where I think I feel like they were like in the bathroom again or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, do you think I'm dirty or whatever?" And then she like stomps against the wall, like gets really close to him, and I'm like convinced that she's gonna pee on him.
That's what I thought too. I thought she was going
I
to pee
was
on him.
so sure she was gonna pee on
Yeah.
him, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like that. Like that scene was very like. Ah! I think that's another good thing that the series does is like you get convinced that something's gonna happen and then it does something else.
Yeah, it really it plays with you. It really
And
does.
then the things that there's it also has to do with things that you don't think are gonna happen too.
Yeah, and it plays with your expectations well, and it switches stuff up. Because I actually really liked how the escape arc worked, because you just had stuff that kept happening inadvertently that you didn't think was going to connect. That does. That all adds up to a certain event. And I know it sounds kind of simple, but a lot of these shows don't do that. A lot of these shows, if there's a scene or like there's a comedy, sketch or something like that, it really doesn't add up.
Right.
Whereas this, I feel like, really rewards you for actually sticking through it, because it builds to something. It actually builds up to something.
Yeah, and even if it's something that like you don't like I wasn't really like that personally. I wasn't really that emotionally attached to the characters, but
Yeah.
there was it did take them like 3 to 4 episodes to build the fucking whole, you know. So it's like there really
Yeah.
is like that focus point that you're going
Hmm.
through with it, you know.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that because, it could have done without that, and it could have been fine without that. It could have just been like a series of funny sketches and then they escape, and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like there's like a weird sense of logic in this show that keeps it grounded and I think makes it compelling as opposed to just a series of events. Because they could just rely on just the art for the fan service and then the ridiculous comedy, and then you've got a pretty complete series right there. For I'd say most stories of this nature anyway. So I actually like that. It seems strangely well written, like well put together. And I'm kind of interested in seeing where it actually ends up, because they're dealing with some interesting topics, all of which I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go with it. So I'm hesitant to really comment on it, like
Right.
the gender issues and stuff. Like, I mean, I could like really stretch something out, but I don't know where it's actually going to go. Like, I mean, who the fuck knows where it's going to go? Well, I mean, if you've read 17 volumes of the manga, you know where it's going to go.
Yeah,
But
you have a clue.
you have a clue, but I don't. So I was, because otherwise the gender stuff is interesting. Mako we're not really sure. I mean, she's kind of S&M-y, but it seems like she's way into Mary. So, and Mary, we just didn't really get a lot out of, except that she hates dudes, it seems like. And then Hana is really the only one that has like a flaw, it seems, like aside from over like sweating a lot. Hana has this like pee thing that she's got to work out.
Right.
And I was actually kind of sad we stopped at 5 because the advertisements for 6 was basically like Hana's counterattack. Seems like her plan, she says, well, I'll get you later. And he's like, oh, fuck. So it seems like the next one is about that. So, yeah, that would have been interesting because Hana's great, and I was sad that she wasn't in
Yeah.
three of those, 3 or 4 of those episodes.
I did kind of want more Hana.
Yeah, I definitely did because you got a decent amount of her in 1 and 2, and then she just takes off, and she only comes in what at like the 20-minute mark, 21-minute mark of episode 5. So there's like 3 minutes left of the show, not counting the endings theme. So it's really like she's not really in there.
So all in all, how would you?
Out of 10,
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a fucking weird one because I really like the humor. I am actually interested in where it's going. Um, but of what we just saw, the humor. I mean, as much as I laughed, as much as I enjoyed it and watched it repeatedly, that doesn't save it from a story that kind of seems like it could do something cool, but we didn't see that yet. So I'd probably have to give it like 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
I'd say.
well, I think that like you're struggling with a similar thing that I was thinking, which is like for plot, I would give it pretty low marks. For comedy, I would give it high marks.
Oh yeah,
This is the first time I've been like, I wish that we had like, like with games, it'll be like, how's the soundtrack, how are the controls, how are the graphics, etc., and the plot. Like
yeah,
this is the first time where I would say that it just splits so dramatically. But like, if you want a comedy, like there's, I would say like for a plot too, and in its genre, like it's actually pretty good for
yeah.
like plot and comedy. If you just want a comedy, then it's really like I think that actually helps the comedy a lot. But it's I definitely want to finish it, but again, it's like it's sort of in like the 6 or 7 range just because of the spread. But that doesn't mean that like the parts that are good aren't golden.
Yeah, I mean, I also say too that I think we agree that it was well shot. I mean, it was well put together. I
Really,
mean, the
really, really
animation was
well put
good.
together.
Yeah, and I think it was so really very competent staff. And yeah, again, I agree with you. High marks for comedy, but I really think overall 6.5 because I just have no fucking idea where it's going. And
Right, and like I don't. There's a lot of characters that are there that you really know nothing about.
no, and really, they're like you said earlier, they're just stereotypes at the moment. They're just
I almost feel like I know more about the chef from like the chef who never smiles in the food thing than I do about like his cellmates.
yeah, yeah. Because really, because especially during the 3-parter or 4-parter, I guess, arguably of the escape arc, um, you see a lot of Kiyoshi and Gakuto. But the other guys are just really in the background, so much so that there's a couple of scenes where they're like singing and like doing this weird like choo choo train thing,
Right,
and like you have no fucking idea what they're doing, and it's kind of funny, but that's it. That's all you got in there.
right.
There was no, it was only at the very end. It was like when they were doing the gay jokes. That
Where
one
they
guy
even
was
like yeah, it had a presence, and
yeah,
of
that was
that
more
presence that they had, it was like
totally tangential. But they were, and I guess it's almost like they felt angry for being left out of that story, so that's why they were mad. Like, it kind of almost felt like that. Being the fat dude, his thing is basically that he loves Mako, I'd say. He just loves her. He just loves getting the shit kicked out of him by her. So he has a little diary where he writes down like today I got stomped on.
Right.
That's pretty funny. But otherwise, that's it. It's just they're funny, but they're not. They're just kind of there. So this is an interesting question for this show. Who would you recommend this to?
You just had you did fuck. I don't know, man. Like it just doesn't make sense. I can't even like just watch it, and then you'll know quick. Just watch it.
Yeah,
Trial by fire. You might be scarred for life, or you might like find like Nirvana or whatever. Like one thing that I do know is that like there's gonna be like a lot of young dudes watching this that are gonna like be introduced in a serious way to like wanting to be dominated by women.
oh yeah, I actually would be kind of interested to like see what that would have done to my brain if I had seen it when I was like 15. Because yeah, this show spins a certain way for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great point. I mean, it's like I wonder, especially with the manga that's out now, here in the states. So it's not like it's out. Not like that it's going to be underground or something like that. So that's going to be pretty interesting. The last anime slash manga that made me feel that awkward with some of the scenes was Flowers of Evil or the Flowers of Evil or whatever.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So what's funny is that's another show that makes you really really awkward and kind of has this like a similar vibe of like holy shit, the character is getting into these really awkward situations and you just kind of feel bad. And it's also about the kind of rush of teenagedom, I guess. But the interesting thing about this and Flowers of Evil is whereas this took a comedy approach to the material, Flowers of Evil is like the complete flip side of this show, which is it goes into some interesting gender stuff between men and women, but it's done in like a horror story sort of way. So there's nothing fucking funny about Flowers of Evil. So it's just so like the scene, especially where he dresses up as a girl to escape. This is played off as humorous, but if you want to see another take on on that, and similar topics, Flowers of Evil kind of hits that same vein, but if you didn't want to laugh and you just wanted to be scared shitless the whole time, but also features a female character who's like super aggressive and super dominating of the main character. So it's just an interesting. That's the only other series I can think of that kind of made me feel similarly to this show. Because, like you said before, GTO is like it's an easy comparison to make and that I made, but I don't think it was correct in the sense that it's really not the same tone whatsoever. But yeah, I do think it's interesting that all the guys are kind of crappy, and I do think the thread with the main character, where he's not a total pervert in the sense that he's not like fawning over these being beaten up by these girls, but I do think the fact that he's lying to the girl he likes is an interesting plot thread, and I do think the president of the school is going to end up in jail with him. Really do. I think he's on fast track for getting usurped by his daughter and getting thrown into jail.
Dude, there's so much. What's it called? Like, is it Yandere or something like that? Is that
Yandere, I guess.
yeah? Isn't that it? When the girls are fucking scary.
I guess so. I've always seen that as like they're like, and I'm not going to admit to knowing a whole lot about this. Or wait, I phrased that wrong. Admit to not knowing much about this, but
Okay.
as far as I know, that's more like the girl gets jealous of other girls the guy is talking to, so she murders them, rather than just like beating up on the guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I think it's like the love interest is scary or whatever.
oh yeah, it could be that, just that too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a type. And really, on that note, if you had to choose one of the three, who would you choose? Pick your poison, my friend.
God, I think I want to go with Hana. Either Hana or the Vice. I'm not like completely sure, but like I
Yeah.
sort of feel like I don't know. They're both kind of crazy. I think Hana's just like a little more in the crazy that I like. I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah, I'm not really into getting beaten up. I mean, I'm not really into peeing on people either, but I think Hana I'd have to go to. Too. Also, her hair is kind of the color of pee.
The more you know.
Dun dun dun. Was that intended? That's about as deep as I can get with this show.
Right.
Yeah, Hana, I think wins it because like she seems like a character that she's actually the one I want to see the most of because like she just seems like she's gonna go on like such a deep fucked up ride.
Actually, I almost think that I might be like more into like the vice president, but like I'm just really like Hana is like I just really don't know what she's gonna do, and
Yeah,
I find that in a way to be like captivating, you know.
yeah.
But
Because the vice president just beats the shit out of people
right,
and sweats.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
Hana is just yeah. She's captivating because you just don't know what the fuck she's gonna do.
yeah. So do we? Oh, so just wrapping up. Oh, the one more thing that I wanted to talk about was I thought that it was interesting that the ending trailer
Mm-hmm.
was someone like video recording all of the chicks.
The ending theme, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I also like the opening too.
Yeah, I
It
thought the
was
opening
interesting,
was really good too. I just thought that.
and and the song lyrics were actually interesting too, as opposed to just having the usual like J-pop like you know theme. They actually seemed like the lyrics were really tailored to the show
Yeah.
specifically. So yeah, I really like the ending theme. That was fun.
Do we know what we're doing next, anime wise?
Yeah, I don't think we've talked about that.
So it's gonna be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise. Just tune in next week, and you'll get. I mean, if if you don't want it to be a surprise, and if you don't like surprises, email us.
Right.
You can take your destiny in your own hands and go forward and actuate your dreams and desires for what show you'd like us to talk about next
Yes.
in real life. So
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll just catch you back next time, and thanks for watching Prison School with us if you did, and we appreciate you putting up with us talking about it if you didn't.
Yeah. Rock on and catch you later.
Later.